Welcome to this edition of Next Wave's Leadership Forum. Today we're going to focus on another outstanding Michigan-based company who has outgrown their reputation. They're a fantastic company based here that is establishing their expertise and then moving on to bigger and better things. My guest today is the CEO and founder of Xede Consulting Group, John Birgbauer. First, John, I want to thank you for being here today. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Nancy.
Great. Now, Xede is a large IT consulting firm, but that's the shortest description I can give you. They work in many, many areas and are moving with technology into the cloud, as they say, which I think a lot of people want to understand. So before we get to exactly how your company has become so successful, John, in so many years, I want to ask you a little bit about John Birgbauer, as CEO and founder. Tell me your story. You're a Michigander, native Michigander. How did you get started? Where'd you go to school? And how did you decide to take that leap into starting Xede?
I went to college at Williams College in Williamstown, Massachusetts, and spent the first decade of my career working for two of the premium IT consulting firms traveling all over North America, and decided in the late 90s to take a shot and hang a shingle and open up the Xede Consulting Group.
And so you're based in Troy, Michigan now.
We are.
And how many employees? Give us a little bit about how your growth cycle has been at Xede.
We've got about 40 employees and have had a wonderful 13 years in business, riding up and down.
All wonderful?
Riding up and down with the macro economy.
Yeah.
And we certainly survived 2008 and 2009 and are back in growth mode.
Great. Fantastic. So, all right, if you could, and just looking at the where your areas of success have been, you are, and John was one of the few selected by Crane's 40 under 40 achievers. That's congratulations on that.
Thanks.
That's a great accolade. So you offer, I would say in a nutshell, IT consulting services, but increasingly in different areas, you're moving to take the work from companies, and I mean companies, big companies like even GM, who make cars, and help them understand how to use technology more effectively. Is that a good way to sum up what you do at Xede?
Yeah, most of our customers have constraints within their IT systems of one form or another, and our move out to providing services in the cloud computing domain right now is helping companies design and build solutions that remove some of those constraints that come with on-premise application solutions.
Now that's really important because I think in our business life cycle that we've realized how important it is to stick to your core business. And for a while there, with all the mergers and acquisitions and whatnot, companies got out of their core business and started trying to be know-it-alls. And I love on your website you say, we're not geeky know-it-alls, we're solve-it-alls. So what you're doing is effectively doing what they, that's not their core business. And companies, are you seeing a trend where companies are coming to you saying, hey, listen, we don't want to get in this business. We want to make good cars. We want to, serve their core business. And they partner with you in a way, collaborate to achieve those goals.
That's part of the value of the cloud computing paradigm. Companies more and more are being disciplined about understanding what is core to their businesses. And they have more and more are making decisions to not be in the router, switch, database, and server business, and to make investments in IT assets that help them invent as opposed to maintain their IT assets.
Mm-hmm. Now, so you're increasingly moving into new areas in partnering with companies. Tell me a little bit about Salesforce.com and how you're working even on the sales aspect and helping to improve that process.
Well, the Salesforce.com market is absolutely exploding. This is a company that's only 10 or 11 years old, and by the end of this year will be doing $2 billion, at least on a run rate basis, as a publicly traded company. The ecosystem around the Salesforce.com space is exploding as well, much like we saw with the internet coming out in the mid-90s. So there are going to be many winners and losers in the cloud computing space, and Salesforce.com is clearly going to be one of the big winners, and we are one of their strategic partners headquartered here in Michigan.
Fantastic. Now, I mentioned General Motors and your work you did for them. To me that seems like such an overwhelming technology. Their manufacturing and engineering department is who you specifically worked with. How on earth can you partner with a company like GM? Everyone thinks GM has all that capability, but how did you specifically help a company that is manufacturing and engineering focused to improve their project management and all aspects of how they're actually making cars?
Well, part of what we do in our core DNA at Xede is to break down very big problems into a series of smaller problems that can be controlled and designed and built and delivered in a manner that is valuable to the customer. So that sort of capability in being able to decompose a problem into core incremental deliverable parts is part of our secret sauce at Xede in making big problems small and digestible to our customers.
So it's not necessarily, you could have engineering expertise, but that doesn't mean that they're able to break it down in terms of using the technology, the information technology tools and expertise to help them advance their goals.
Right.
Right, great. So now you talked about cloud computing, and everyone's hearing this word, and most people don't have any clue what cloud computing is. So let's start there. You're moving into that space, and John, I understand you have a new venture called Segway. That I'd like you to touch on briefly, but tell people what cloud computing is and why it is the next generation of IT technology.
Sure. Cloud computing is a lot of things with a lot of different interpretations, but at its premise, it is a very different business model for buying and leveraging software. Most companies will, whether it's a desktop product like Microsoft Office or a big ERP system like SAP, will bring that software in-house and install it either on a desktop or a server in their data center. In the cloud computing domain, all of that infrastructure exists elsewhere, and it's accessed by users through an internet browser or a mobile browser on a phone or a PDA or something, or a tablet. The benefit that all of the customers of a cloud computing product gain from is that everybody benefits from that shared infrastructure investment. And the second piece to the cloud computing model is that these services that are delivered to the end consumer are rented, usually on a monthly or a quarterly basis, as opposed to a one-time slug of capital. So that makes it easy to adopt. You don't have to buy hardware and infrastructure around the software as a service or cloud computing products, and it lowers the hurdle to adoption and creates space for companies to invent.
Cheaper, better, faster.
Indeed.
One of your taglines I love, you say we put a lot of hard work into software. So it's not, that is your secret sauce, right? That you make these applications that are in the cloud so easy for the end user to use, but obviously it takes a lot of work to make it that easy. Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah, ultimately we marry very specific software engineering disciplines with a fair amount of black magic, classic left brain, right brain value. So the solutions that we build for our customers have to work functionally and technically, but they also have to be useful and meaningful to the end users, and that means having a key eye for design and usability and adoption.
Do you customize cloud applications for companies?
Absolutely. We're doing a very big project right now for a retail company who's transforming their business by moving their entire business architecture out to the cloud, from a high UI, high content website to an e-commerce platform, and all the way into designing and building a mini ERP system up in the cloud. So those sorts of business transformations are only available using cloud computing technologies, and frankly haven't been available in the old legacy web application architectures.
So you must have to do a lot of hand-holding with companies to help them move from the old model, mainframe, to the cloud. Is that part of what your people do and your company does?
Yeah, the transformation path has a lot of layers to it, and we've got some service products that are specifically designed around helping companies roadmap that path, which includes transforming their business and taking care of human concerns like change and uncertainty.
And Segway, is this a new division that's different than? Tell me a little bit about what it is.
Yeah, Segway is a new brand and business model that we are incubating right now that is exclusively dedicated to these types of business transformations that require cloud computing technologies to realize that transformational business lift and business returns. So it's a very different engagement model and service delivery model and fee model than the traditional web application design and development space. And so we have opened up Segway as a means for building out a new brand with a new series of service offerings to address that market.
So Cloud 2.0.
Yes.
If you will.
Uh-huh.
So if this is all Egyptian to you, then you need to go to Xcede's website and understand how this whole environment, the whole IT environment, is moving quickly and how it's improving. It's all about advancement, innovation, entrepreneurialism. Xcede is one of the fastest growing Michigan companies that is making this easy for you. John, give people your website. I just want to let them know where to reach out to your people.
Xede.com, Xede.com.
There you go. So the Cloud 2.0 and its applications for you. That's why John Birgbauer is in Next Wave's Leadership Forum today. John, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time and best of luck to you.
Thanks for having me, Nancy.
Great. That'll do it. Xede.com when you need to move into the cloud or know what the cloud is for that matter. Thanks and have a great day.